Hello folks, welcome back to the channel and thank you for being here. It really means a lot. Truly, it really means a lot. So in this video today, we're talking about the best VR visuals available in 2025, okay? And I've got my top 5 best VR visuals, the top 5 in the world really, because I have at this point in time tried all of the major high-end VR headsets out on the market, and it's quite incredible really that things have changed quite a bit in just a short amount of time. So if you're interested in this video, please do stick around, stay tuned. And first of all, I just want to say a big shout out to FS Academy for sponsoring this channel. They produce the best training tutorials for both MSFS 2020 and 2024. They've got a whole host of different packages that range from being a VFR pilot to IFR procedures, right up to being an airline captain. And what I really like about the packages is it feels like the pilot is right there beside you, giving you the instructions and making you feel like, especially in VR, that you're actually taking a proper lesson. It's amazing. So all the links for FS Academy, which are produced, by the way, from a real world airline pilot, will be in the notes below. Go check them out. Right then, let's crack on with this then. So number 5, with number 1 being the best, is the Somnium VR1. It's hanging in there as one of the most sharpest VR headsets you can buy right now. It really is. And honestly, in this sort of segment here, where we're talking about very high pixels per degree, the Somnium VR1 weighs in at 2880 by 2880 with a 35 pixels per degree display. So that makes it even more impressive because I think it's a combination of those dual stacked lenses and the NVIDIA sharpening algorithm that they use really makes that headset pop. And in all honesty, it's pretty much as sharp as even the 50 ppd module of the Pimax Crystal Super. I think the only thing is because of that slightly low resolution, there is more of a risk, shall we say, of seeing the screen door effect and just knowing, you know, when looking at the smaller sort of gauges, like for instance the Nav1 display here and all of this, it's just a bit more natural with a higher PPD than it is with a 35 PPD. You can just tell, your eyes can just distinguish a little bit that there's pixels there. And it's not necessarily screen door effect, but it's pixel fill. And it does make a difference. But in any case, I think the Somnium VR1 is insanely sharp. And if you do super sample it with a 5090, then it is absolutely frigging mind-blowing and very, very sharp indeed. Okie dokie then, number 4 on the list today of the sharpest VR visuals known to man in 2025 is, funny enough, the Pimax Crystal Super 50 ppd module. So the thing about the Crystal Super 50 ppd module is I think it has a really great compromise of a really good field of view, and it does beat the Somnium VR1 in terms of field of view with a just one big aspheric lens rather than 2 dual stacked lenses, which means it's more comfortable as well. I'm getting a measured 126 degrees field of view, whether with the Somnium VR1 I'm getting 122, 124, so it just beats it. But also, of course, with it having a crazy high resolution and 50 pixels per degree, the pixel fill is a lot more packed. So when looking at the same, cockpit gauges here, whilst the sharpness factor is very similar to the VR1, it is more natural looking because you don't get any pixels at all. You just don't see them. It's impossible pretty much to see any screen door effect. I think the only issue though that you will find with the 50 ppd module is you will or might get some mirror lines. And that can admittedly ruin it against the Somnium VR1, simply because even though you don't get screen door effect, you get mirror instead, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's just one of those things that you have to sort of basically put up with as a trade-off with this high PPD display. In terms of the lenses of the 50 ppd, I actually think they're really excellent in this. And overall, I think the 50 ppd module definitely has a strong place at number 4 as one of the sharpest displays out there. Right then, so we're now into crunch time. The top 3 sharpest VR headsets in the world right now. Well, at number 3, it is the Vario XR4. And that's simply because it can go up to 55 ppd in that thing. Not to mention the pass-through as well, which if you go for the focal edition, which I've never tried, apparently the pass-through in that is insanely sharp. But even with the standard edition, which I've got, which is, by the way, $6,000, the pass-through is still immensely sharp. Together with those really nice big aspheric lenses, the field of view, which is 120 odd degrees horizontal, it is insanely sharp as well. And I think it personally just beats the 50 ppd module of the Crystal Super only by a smidge. It really is very close. And to be honest, the 50 ppd module of the Crystal Super is a QLED display, so you get better colours in my opinion, personally. Although the mini LED of the Vario XR4, in my opinion, has better local dimming. They're both as sharp as each other as well. But yeah, I think really overall, the XR4 definitely just beats the 50 ppd module of the Crystal Super just by a smidge, being able to get to the dizzying heights of 55 ppd. It's just insane. It really is. So well done, Vario, for that. I mean, it is a sensational headset. But again, that also suffers from tiger striping and Mura, in fact worse than the Crystal Super. It must be said as well, in terms of the commercial factor, well, the Vario XR4 is being used for pilot training, as well as medical training, even making new cars, for goodness sake. It is a beastly headset, and it has a strong place at number 3. And in terms of being the best commercial PCVR headset out there, you know, well, it absolutely is number 1, without a doubt. Followed closely, I would say, by the Somnium VR1. I think the only thing that really does set it apart from the VR1 is it's more comfortable, and also, obviously, that pixels per degree display. I will say, though, that it must be said the Somnium VR1 is an immense headset for commercial applications and for the military as well, especially as the software is not through a paywall, and you can have full access to the software without paying an extra premium on top. But anyway, I'm getting a bit carried away here. Let's just focus again on what this video is about, and that is absolute sharpness and clarity. Right then, the crunch time. The best, highest resolution, sharpest VR headsets in the world. The top 2 out there, in my opinion, having used all of them. Well, at number 2, it is the Mega X, and we're now talking about a different technology, which is micro OLED. The other headsets, that being the VR1 and the XR4 and the Crystal Super 50 ppd, all have LCD style headsets with either mini LED or QLED technology, whether the Mega X has micro OLED technology, and in my opinion it is the future of VR technology. It's my personal preference anyway, and the Mega X is still my favourite PCVR headset. It still is my favourite, can you believe that? And it's been like that all year so far. I wonder if the Dream Air might end up being better than the Mega X. Who knows? I don't know, guys, until I get hands on with it. But we'll see about that. But in terms of the Mega X, I think it's around 45 pixels per degree. I might be wrong there, but it's because the micro OLED technology is so packed full of pixels, together with the colors, the clarity in that thing at full native resolution, you're talking of something like 6,000 and something. It is insanely sharp, and I think also that binocular overlap, which is damn near perfect, gives you just that beautiful, clear and comfortable view of the gauges. It's just absolutely magnificent, it really is. However, admittedly, the lenses of the Mega NEX are not the best. They're really not, and the sweet spot isn't that great, really, and there is warping with the lenses, and that's something that seems to be a bit of a theme. The sharper you go with a VR headset, the more trade-offs you have to endure with field of view and sweet spots. You know, and it definitely is the case with the Mega NEX. It's not going to be for everyone, but the form factor, the sharpness, the colours, the perfect blacks, for me, it just wins over any other headset out there. And that is at number 2. It's now time to reveal the sharpest PCVR headset out there on the market, the sharpest visuals, no compromises. You just want pretty much retina levels of clarity, and it is, funny enough, we've gone back to the Crystal Super, but this time it is the 57 ppd module, and I'm using it right now. Honestly, massive congratulations to Pimax. They have been killing it this year. And this 57 ppd module, when I first tried it, I was not expecting to be that impressed with it, you know? Because with the ultra-wide model, which, by the way, is insane, you get like 136 or so degrees horizontal field of view, it is very nice as well, and it's got its own wow factor. For me, after a long session, it's just not as comfortable on the eyes as the standard 50 ppd module, which is at number 5. But this one, even though it has a smaller sweet spot than the standard 50 ppd module, and even though this headset has a smaller field of view at 104 degrees measured versus 126, this still is the sharpest VR visuals. That doesn't mean it's the best PCVR headset on the market though, okay? We're just talking about the absolute best, sharpest visuals. And when you're in the center of that sweet spot, and it is a bit smaller, don't get me wrong, it is smaller, it is immensely sharp. It really is. And at this point, it really does feel like looking at the cockpit with your own eyes. It really does. And the sharpness out towards the horizon as well is absolutely amazing. So it's quite incredible to think that the Crystal Super actually, which is basically my winner of the best flight simulation headset for the mass market, you know, it has a variety of different options. You can go for the ultra wide model and get immense field of view, but you will sacrifice binocular overlap and eye comfort, in my opinion. Or you can go for the 57 ppd module, which sacrifices field of view, sweet spots in my opinion. But here's a big thing here that I haven't mentioned in this video. You get way better performance with the 57 ppd module simply because of that lack of field of view. I get really good performance with this headset, and that's another reason actually why I actually prefer the 57 ppd module over both the ultra wide and the 50 ppd. I think, you know, it just is a marvel what they've done with this. It is insanely sharp, but it's not going to be for everyone. In fact, I think it's going to be for a niche group of people like me, because I am niche, that favour clarity over anything else, you know, because this does have quite a few trade-offs. But when it's all said and done, when it comes to absolute clarity in VR, Pimax has won this one. Again, in fact, they've also won my best PC VR headset for flight simulation of 2025 as well. And again, this is the same headset. Pretty amazing. Honestly, I am really impressed with what Pimax have done this year. And I know that they have gone through so many issues in terms of quality control, and they've got a lot to learn. They really have. They've done some really bad things this year, some mistakes. But when it's all said and done, they are pushing the boundaries for PCVR. and this is absolutely the best, sharpest visuals you can get in a headset, providing you don't mind a smaller field of view and smaller sweet spot as well. I mean, even the tracking is good. Look at this. I'm looking at a wall here, okay? Obviously, I'm not looking at it, but in terms of actually in real life, there's a wall, a plain wall here, and it, in terms of the tracking, it's very, very good. It's working really, really well now. And we're about to land at Simpson Aerodrome. There's quite a bit of turbulence here in my motion rig, which I'm about to take down at the time of this recording, which is September the 5th. So really, it's a really great time at the moment for variety in the PCVR segment. There's lots of different headsets out there depending upon what's important to you. Like I said, for me, I personally prefer micro OLED, but I've got to say, the Super is so close at number 2. It's almost level now with the Mega X, to be honest, because you get amazing performance with eye tracking here. This is very close to being my favourite. I think the only reason why it isn't is because I'm a bit of a fan, a massive fanboy of micro OLED, really. Let's be honest. But I do think for most of you out there, the Crystal Super standard module, 50 ppd, is the one to go for. Now, I wonder if the Pimax Dream Air will change things. I just don't know, guys, until I get hands-on with that headset. And hopefully, I'll be one of the first to try out the Dream Air on the channel. But for now, I just don't know, folks. So I can only tell you the headsets that I've tried. Oh my god. Wow, that was a bit of a microburst there or something. This is a bit lively. But for now, folks, as we come into Simpson, thank you for watching on the channel. It really means a lot. Please feel free to subscribe. On this channel, I tell you everything about VR and flight simulation, the good and the bad. It's not just all about all the good stuff. I tell you how it is. And I can assure you, regardless of whether I get a headset delivered, for review from a manufacturer, it makes no difference to me. I'll tell you if it's good or bad. I can assure you of that. Anyway, I'm definitely going now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.